Peas, Jonathan Allen knee, Sadiq Charles concussion, Cam Curl ankle, Antonio Gibson knee slash foot, Cornelius Lucas ankle, Andrew Norwell hip, Brian Robinson knee, James Smith Williams concussion, Benjamin St. Juste ankle, Jamin Davis knee, Montez Sweat illness. No limited or full participants.
All right, cool. First, I want to start off by opening up and giving our thoughts and prayers as an organization to Damar Hamlin and his family, his friends, the Buffalo Bills organization, and the community of Buffalo. We know it was a terrifying situation and transpired. And we're praying for Damar and hoping that he's able to make a full recovery. We talked about what happened in our team meeting this morning. We talked about the our mental health people are available. If any players have any concerns or questions they want to talk about, and then Coach Jordan led us in a team prayer. I just wanted to open up by saying that we're thinking of that young man, his family, and everyone is impacted by that situation.
So I hate to go back to football after that, but with quarterback, what are your plans for this?
Well, our plans is we're going to start with Sam. You know, I spoke with the coaches, talked to some of the team leaders, and and talked with some others about it. And we feel that this is an opportunity for us to give Sam a chance to show us what he's capable of. I think that the opportunity is going to be a good one for him to go out and play football and just kind of show us. I mean, we're not going to judge everything on Sam based on just one game. We are going to get an opportunity to see him and see how he prepares and gives himself the opportunity to play.
And obviously, there was some thought about Taylor and then Sam.
Right.
What does it come down to, and what were some of the, I guess, maybe concerns with just automatically going to Sam?
Well, I think at first initially is obviously it would be his first start, and it would become a little bit of a circus, having to deal with all the things that come with being a starter. But also, you look at the opponent and who you're playing and what they're playing for. Going with Taylor would have given us an opportunity to see what they're doing, how they're doing it, and would have given Sam a chance to take a look at it. If we had gone with Taylor, but at the end of the day, at some point, if Sam ever gets the opportunity to be a starter, this would be the chance. Why not get it over with now and go from there? But the most important thing is that we're really intrigued in terms of watching and seeing what Sam can do as a quarterback in this league.
Will Taylor be the two then?
Yes, Taylor is the primary backup.
And why not Carson after starting him last week?
Yeah, just decided that we'd go with Taylor.
I don't know if you were watching the Monday night game live when it was happening, but as a coach and also as a former player, what was your reaction to seeing what was unfolding?
Biggest thing, more so than anything else, was just hoping and praying that the young man would be fine. Damar, what happened to him was one of those very one-offs, but at the same time, after you see that, you immediately think and pray and hope that he's going to be fine.
And just back to your team, other than Sam, do you anticipate going with any other younger guys?
Yeah, we're going to look to play some of our younger guys and give some opportunities, and see who they are, and we'll go from there.
Ron, I wanted to get back to the situation with the young man. Football players have to make a choice, and they probably make it really early in their lives that they're going to play football because they love it or whatever. But it's a very violent sport, and I just wonder how does someone, you played at the highest level, how do you compartmentalize that and understand that it's violent, but it's worth the risk?
Well, I mean, there's risk in everything you do, and one of the things that can help mitigate risk, obviously, is training yourself properly. Keeping yourself in top physical shape, mental shape. I think also learning your base fundamentals to the nth degree. I mean, becoming as good as you can at that. And then at the same time, you've got to sit there and weigh the risks because you just never know. I mean, it's crazy, but, something like this could happen, and you just don't know that. But you could also say that for everyday life. You just don't know when something's going to come up. And so I think that's probably how we do it. I mean, at least I know that's how I did it. and it's one of those things that I was also very fortunate that I never had to have surgery or anything. But I think a big part of it is a lot of guys, we look at the risks involved, but we also just realize that risk is all around us.
Ron, what have you seen from Sam this season to get to this point? What was your without sharing too much, what was your conversation with Sam like?
Well, I will say this. My initial was, like I said earlier to Ben's question, was I had thought about going with Taylor and actually talked to him about that. And then after having an opportunity to rethink and talk with some other folks about it, talk to some of the team leaders and other players, and coaches for that matter, it really came down to finding out about the young man. So when I sat down with him, we talked about it. He was excited. And I said, look, you're ready? And he was, yes, I'm ready. I'm ready to roll. Well, if you go back and look when Carson was first injured and had surgery, he became the primary backup. So watching Sam every day and getting a chance to watch how he performed against the defense and those little detail things I talked about that I felt he had to work on coming out of training camp, you could see that he was doing those things. He was working. He was getting a feel for that. And a lot of times, when you're doing scout team, that's a good indicator as to how guys can develop and grow. And it was very interesting because a couple of guys that I talked with today, one of the things that they did say was they felt he was ready for his opportunity, and this would be a good chance to watch him. So I think that was a big part of the reason too, as well, is that just how people felt based on the things that we saw, during that stretch. That those 5.5, 6 weeks that he was the primary backup. You got a chance to see him compete every day against the number ones.
Was there any consideration to going back to Carson, or was there a particular reason?
No, we talked about all our options and opportunities, and like I said, initially my first thought was Taylor. But again, as we continue to talk about this and work through this and on up into today, I like I said, last night I had an idea, I had a thought, and this morning came in and talked again and talked some more, and really just felt that, if we're going to do it, now's the chance, let's do it. Get it, I don't want to just kind of get it over with, but, to go through the process and see how he handles it.
He won't be judged on one game. Obviously, we heard the injury report. We saw who was out there.
Yep.
How do you make sure to frame those expectations properly for what he can do with what you've got?
Exactly what you said. I mean, we've had a number of veteran guys that, for the most part, have played these last 4 or 5 weeks, injured, beat up, and this was kind of a culmination of it all. We're hoping to have a few guys available. We probably won't, but we'll have other guys available, so we'll see.
Anybody else you're excited to get a glimpse at?
Oh yeah, there's several young guys that we want to get some more opportunities to and put them out on the field. Chris Paul is a young man that we want to take a really good look at. We want to continue to look at those young tight ends. We know who the receiving group is. Defensively, we got some young defensive linemen we want to take a look at, and we'll get a chance to see them continue. And some of the young DBs.
Will Terry and kind of the receivers play a full workload, like to support Hal? Or
well, for the most part, they'll come in, they'll play, and as the game unfolds, we'll go from there.
And what do you see from Hal practice today?
One thing we've always felt was he has a live arm. He really does. In quick decision making, and he took pretty good command early on. Right from the beginning, he stepped in the huddle, and it was really crisp. Broke the huddle real well. I think on the fourth play, there was somebody had made a mistake in formation in motion, and he stopped it and got back in the huddle and started all over again. So he was willing to step up and take command.
And you said you mentioned you kind of slept on it after thinking Heineke. Was there someone in particular that changed your mind or made a point to you that was like, oh, that resonated with you?
There were several people I talked to that gave me some ideas and some thoughts, and I really, I just wanted to make sure I was weighing all the options and opportunities and reasons why. I mean, there's enough reasons why to start him and enough reasons why not to. And it's just a matter of, at the end of the day, he's going to get an opportunity to play. Why not just start from the beginning more so than anything else?
Practice reps versus regular season game reps, a lot of difference there. What do you think the biggest challenge is going to be for Sam on Sunday against a defense that's pretty darn good?
Well, I think more so than anything else is just decision making. I mean, he's going to face a pretty good team that's playing for something, and he's just going to have to make good decisions and go from there.
Before the season started, Ron, you said this year 3 was going to be a big year for this franchise, for this team, that you wanted to see growth, you wanted to see that next step. I'm sure you're in the process of the self-reflection, self-evaluation as the finality comes up here on Sunday. Do you feel like this team has met your expectations and taken those next steps that you wanted to see, as you mentioned in the offseason going in?
I'd like to believe we did. I think we did some really good things. I think there was a point where we were 6 in the whole playoff hunt. We got ourselves there. We played some pretty good football, and some things happened that we just couldn't sustain. We went through a period with some injuries and lost some guys for the season that we didn't have available. We've played several games that way. We didn't have the running backs from the very beginning. We finally got that together, and as things came together, we showed what we could do, and then some unfortunate situations. So do I think we stepped forward? Yeah, I do. Do I think we show we have a pretty good core of young guys? Yes, I think so. And do we have enough young guys, our veteran guys around those young guys? I think we do. But I do think there's a couple of positions that we can shore up, that we need to shore up. And again, when it comes back to the one question that's looming over everybody, and that's the quarterback position. I was kind of hoping that, we had found a solution, and who knows? We may not, we may have. We'll find out on Sunday how we feel about it coming out of it. But do I feel good enough? Yeah, I do. I really do. I mean, we did some good things, you'd like to believe. Now, we had some opportunities we didn't capitalize, and that's on us, that's on me. But at the end of the day, I feel good about it.
A couple more.
You've talked about the need for QB1, and even right there you alluded to it. And have you had any conversations with Carson? How has that gone?
They've been good, and I think, going forward, we've got a lot more evaluating to do.
Need to talk to him about making a change this week, or after the Browns games, it kind of understood?
I think it was kind of understood, but I talked with them this morning to the quarterbacks, and went from there.
What'd you make of Chase Young in his second game?
Better. He really was. Again, still see a little tentativeness. In fact, he and I we talked yesterday about it. There was one play in particular where the play cut back on him, and you could see for a second when he did stick that leg in the ground, he kind of got stuck. And he knew exactly. And so when I mentioned it to him, and when I said it to him, he knew exactly what I was talking about. And he said, yeah, I'm still a little tentative on some of these things, Coach. I'm still working on it. I'm still getting through it. And one of the things I said to him, I said, this is the thing about it. When you come back, you're never the same guy initially. You've got to work your way back into it. And as Dr. Andrews told him, was that you're not going to be that guy right off the bat. It's going to come in time. And I said, if you want to take an example, just look at Saquon Barkley. Last year, everybody wondered what happened, and this year he's playing back to form. So I said it'll come, and but he was pretty excited about it, how he played. There's still some things that we want him to continue to work on and grow on, and it's coming because he had a chance for a couple of sacks he missed, and it really was just trying to get him to understand, hey, you got to trust in that one more step, and I think that'll come over time.
Do you treat him as maybe a special case this Sunday in terms of playing time, or do you want to see him get another full game under his belt?
We want to see him play. We most certainly do. But again, we will look at situation and circumstances. I mean, we are playing for the future. Obviously, we want to win. I mean, that's first and foremost as far as I'm concerned. But we also have to think about going forward, and that's part of why the decision was made about Sam. Everything we're doing really is about winning, but it's also about seeing what we have going forward.
Take 2 more.
What specifically will you look for from Sam to tell if his progress that he made on the practice field is translating?
Well, first and foremost is a lot of little details we talked about. That was footwork. What's his footwork like? Second thing is his decision making. A couple of times in the preseason, the thing that he got stuck on was when that first or second guy that he had gone to wasn't there. He waited, and then he got hit. And what he's got to understand is, when it's live situation, and as Scott mentioned, it's completely different. Preseason practice in real time, so he can't sit there and wait for that guy to open. He's got to either get to the next one or get rid of the ball or get out of the pocket.
With Heineke, did you have a conversation with him, and then longer term, would you like to keep him around?
Well, we'll get into what we want to do going forward with personnel once the season's over. But my conversation with him was terrific. He's a heck of a young man, and he really helped me through this in terms of decision making.
And, among the people you talked to, did ownership get involved in this, or was it strictly coaches?
No, this was done by everybody in that office, in that facility, and a couple of special people that I rely on for their input.
Ron, you have a lot of guys on the injury report. Do you anticipate any of them playing?
Yes, there'll be a few of them that will make it.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you, guys.